Hey everybody, this is Talkative Carl back again for another Deadliest Warrior watch along. We are nearly done with this watch along thing. Don't know if I'm ever gonna be doing something like this again, honestly. But this is unless you guys you can make that a request on my Patreon. It's patreon.com/talkative Carl. Links are in the description. If you want to do like a movie watch along with me, we can try to make that happen. But yeah, the next three Deadliest Warrior episodes that we'll be going through right now will be Genghis Khan versus Hannibal, and it's a kind of a common mistake among Westerners is Genghis Khan, like a cha, instead of the hard G sound, Genghis. That's not how you really pronounce it, turns out. Oh, well, not turns out for me, because since this episode came out back in the day, that's how I was properly taught, how to pronounce his name. So, Genghis Khan, Saddam Hussein versus Pol Pot, Teddy Roosevelt versus Lawrence of Arabia. Those will be the next three episodes that we'll be going through tonight. So yeah, honestly, Genghis Khan, it really like even more so than Alexander the Great, pretty much like conquered like a hefty amount, and don't think he ever lost a battle during his conquest. Honestly, he's like probably one of the most successful generals in history. Like literally, the only thing he didn't even die in battle. Like he died on like an accident on his horse or whatever. And it's like the only thing that stopped that guy was literal death, accidental death. He never got once taken down in battle, which is wild. So according to like the Deadliest Warrior Wikipedia, Genghis Khan is arguably the most successful general in history, and like high marks in generalship. Like I just want to put it out there, like dude was serious. Even still, dude like raped and pillaged a lot of places, and it's said like at least most of the Asian, a lot of Asian people can at least Mongolian more specifically, but some parts in China, some parts in other certain Asian territories over in the east, there's probably quite a few people that can have like probably some kind of lineage to Genghis Khan. You never know. Like I said, he did raped a lot of women during his conquest, so it's like people at that time, man, it's like it's not necessarily, you think like the Wild West was something like, there was like literally like, or even like during the golden days of piracy, it was still some, modicum of rules to engagement. But man, we go further even back, even before like Rome, or even did Rome happen after Genghis Khan or before? But even still, like Rome had some modicum of rules, but like Genghis Khan and like Attila the Hun, their camps, they have like barely any rules of engagement. They just they had like their eyes set on something, they just power through, honestly. But he has some kind of like knowledge of like how to lead their men, so they're not stupid or not just like bronze over brains kind of situation here. But anyway, we'll learn a little bit more in this episode. So get your timestamp to 0 if you're watching us on Amazon Prime. So I'm gonna adjust my seat here. Hopefully the volume on the TV is not too loud, so I don't get in trouble with YouTube. So anyway, Get ready to press play when I say now. And in 3, 2, 1, now. And dude, like literally had elephants. Hannibal. It's like that was crazy. It's like the only warrior to actually use like a unorthodox animal in it. I mean, like other. I mean, you have horses and dogs and hell, even lions. Well, if you're talking about like Roman Colosseums, but they have lions. But actually, on a battlefield, you know, a freaking elephant. Hell, that really kind of throws you off a bit. Like, what the hell? It just like reminds me of the episode with the French, not the French musketeers versus the uh, uh, Ming warriors, where the Ming warriors had that rocket power, the arrow battery thing, uh, the nest of bees, and it's like it's not something that you expect to see on a battlefield, and it's like it will throw you off if you don't expect it. And like they always throw me off about like expect, or at least get on my nerves when somebody say like expect the unexpected. It's like that's so stupid. It's like, oh, sorry, what the heck? Stupid. My ex-wife sitting there listening on stuff, and it's like doesn't do it when I want it to. But it's like, oh, expect the unexpected. Like, should I expect frogs to be thrown in my face? Should I expect, my pubic hairs to strangle me? Like, it's like, that's so stupid. You can't expect, you know, like, just like expect the unexpected. Like, that's stupid. It's just plain stupid to me. I like playing as Genghis Khan doing my gameplay of Deadliest Warrior Legends. Check out my gameplay on my on the channel if you want to see me utilize that character and Hannibal too. If you want to see how that, how their weapons and so on work. By the way, you know, like from the reenactments, they kind of show like his the Hannibal actor is like he's kind of like racially ambiguous, but I kind of think he's just a white guy. But historically, it's theorized he could have been like because like he came from like a certain part of Africa, so it could be argued that he was African. But it's kind of like ambiguous historically. It's like there wasn't like very concrete records of his. It is kind of like just lean towards like a black person. They got to kind of have for like the Hannibal actor in certain shots. I always thought like, man, I thought that was Ben Affleck for a second. Like he was the jawline and like without, I mean, with his helmet on, you can certain shots you can like is that freaking Ben Affleck? But no, no. The narrator kind of sounded like he was trying to finish the sentence, but it was no other names, just one single name like Cher. So it did come out like naturally. Husbayar Smith, just Husbayar. Yeah, Mongolia, China, Siberia. So nearly in the Arabians. It's like most of that territory. He probably raped a lot of people. So it's like there's a significant amount of Asian people that might have uh, direct bloodline to Genghis Khan in some fashion. Because that bastard probably raped your great 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 grandmother or aunt. And since like Genghis Khan had like steel weapons, I mean like in most of uh Hannibal's weapons, like I was like that. Well, at least his cuirass is pretty much like bronze. It's like one's technologically like superior than the other. So it's kind of, but sometimes like technical lot technical technology, technological superiority usually doesn't mean crap. Sometimes. Yeah, man. I seen an elephant up close. Man, they are huge. One of the largest land animal, well, the largest land animal, and like the whale is supposed to be the largest sea animal. What's the largest air animal? I want to look that up. Like, what's the largest air animal? Oh God, 2,045 pounds for one step. Turn that, body into paste. Oh, I just want to mention really quick. Uh, this last Saturday, I went over to a friend's house, and her boyfriend actually, well, at least it was like a relative of his, actually had Japanese swords, like on a mantle. It was like legit swords, and like you know, and a sword that he used for like seppuku. I mean, like it blew my mind. I was like, oh my god! And it's like it's like I you know was careful with it, but man, it was like it's like got my hands on like actual Japanese samurai sword. Uh, and and even the smaller one they used to like for like just stabs. Even that had like a few pounds to it. And it's like you would think it was gonna be like a little bit lighter, but you know it was significant, and it was like obviously sharp, even just by because even he said he got like he pricked himself just by like like it's slightly touching the tip. It's like those things are freaking sharp. There's no joke. Just by looking at it, and just I touched the like the smooth part, not the sharp part, but the smooth part, and it's like just by like the feel of it, it's like yeah, these things are fucking sharp. It's like one wrong move, I can just easily take off my whole entire tip of my finger. But man, it was cool as hell. Cause that's something I want. Like I want my own like katanas is just to have like on display, like on like a mantle or something. Because eventually I want to get my own bow. I mentioned in plenty of times I need to get my own bow and arrow. You could tell like, oh man, he was disappointed. Because Mac is like fairly new, so it's like I mean, like he didn't take it, personally, obviously, but it's like, it's like, it's like sometimes I'm glad they kept that part in. Cause like, yeah, sometimes we agree, sometimes I'm like, it's like, no, it's cool, it's cool. Yeah, I mean, these swords are no freaking joke, man. It's just the way like they're like folded so many times. Cause I really want to like, I really want to go to Japan one day, just to see like Japanese swords being made in front of my eyes by the blacksmiths. I know there's got to be a reason why he has to have like his wrist wrapped up like that. I'm like, what is that? It has to have a purpose. I think Genghis can rival something like the Vlad the Impaler's killers. So yeah, like the Turco-Mongol saber and the killers. I think the katana is like three of the most like significant uh swords that I've seen on the show that really do like you know so, like do the job that you wanted to do with almost little to no effort. I think like the katana requires maybe a little bit more effort, but like you've seen like the killage lop off those pigs from the Vlad the Impaler Sun Tzu episode. It's like whap whap done. The Mongol saber is like can nearly do just as that just by the way like where the curve is obviously like kind of weighted. You can easily like just lop off limbs just if you land it in the right spot. I mean, that is a good point. It's like as much as I love like the Mongol saber and like the killers, you imagine that because how big the blade is, you definitely have to put some energy into it. And even from playing the games, it's like like the saber, and certain swords from the game. It was like it's like they implement it into the game where it's like certain moves exhaust you a bit because there's like recovery time, depending on the weapon. Something like the Hannibal sword, not necessarily need like that much energy put into delivering impacts because like half the size of the saber. Imagine that, because I never ridden on a horse before, but I imagine, I don't know, just depends on like the weapon, like how adept it is when you're riding on a horse and you're trying to like deliver a blow. Yeah, is it gonna stay true, or uh, is it gonna like is it gonna like not deliver? So it kind of matters, I guess. I mean, I can't believe like he has like a brass helmet. It's like, I mean, it's like, is that supposed to be like? Because that looked like a very. If he had like such a flimsy brass helmet back in the day, that's just like dumb. It's not even thick enough brass at the very least, or thick enough bronze. Two, one. And that's the thing he mentioned earlier in the film. I kind of talked over it, but it's like the diet. I'm glad they kind of mentioned like the thing like warriors of that time have, because like these X factors I kind of wish they kind of implemented in the previous two seasons. But the fact that like yeah like you know uh Hannibal ate the kind of food you expect like an Olympic athlete to like eat compared to like Chinggis Khan, who eats like just you know mostly just meat, you know uh so it's kind of like he expected like the kind of gas out faster than someone like Hannibal, because because Hannibal has more like a more balanced food. and that does contribute to your overall strength and stamina. And I love these, like, that's another thing I wish they kind of implemented in the previous seasons. The touch table to talk about, like, each warrior's different battle tactics. I love that. It's probably my favorite part. And I love it when they implement it into the reenactment so you can just see it play out. Like, using the Hannibal's tactic against someone uh, uh, I don't know, Alexander the Great in the game. It's like, okay, like, how would these guys, handle like a tactic they never seen before or haven't been invented yet in their time? Yeah, I mean, that the devil envelopment tactic. I mean, the way it was displayed on the touch table, it's like, yeah, like, that takes like significant like preparation, and like things gotta work to. There's a lot of stuff that gotta really line up to your benefit in order to make that even work. Because one slip, then none of that works. Yeah, I mean, it's like, I mean, I can't imagine anybody falling for like an obvious trap like that and getting, for 9 days and still trying to get at them instead of, like, maybe like somebody had to be like, hey, do you think this is a trap? Like, no, just follow orders and get there. It's kind of like at a certain point, maybe after the second, third day, you would think like they keep messing with us and running away. and we're following them. You don't think it possibly could be a trap, but you never know. People fall for the darndest things. Yeah, that's like nearly as big as the Comanches Warlands. I think the Warlands is probably like the biggest like spear I've ever seen on the show. Just like the big bladed tip. It was like it was ridiculous. I mean, nice shot despite like the roughly small size of the throwing spear. Because you did have like when I played as Hannibal, you did have at least 3 or 4. I think it was 4 on hand when I was playing that thing, and it was beneficial. And it's like just like with like the bow and arrow on the game, depending on how like accurate you are, you pretty much like win the fight more often than not with those. And it does give me a kick when I like land those straight to the skull, like especially with like the arrow. Or no, scratch that. When I use like something like a soliferum on the game and it lands right into the character's eye, and just right at the beginning, it's like just that good. Uh, it just depends on like the way you're placing that hit and where you're positioned. You can just like lop that thing, and and sometimes you take the entire head off of the other warrior, and then the head just go flying off, and it's like, God, that was just like so satisfying. I just they just gave me a kick, man. And that was fun. Check that out because it's happened quite a few times when I played those Deadliest Warrior games. Check out the my Deadliest Warrior gameplay on the channel. Honestly, you'll get a kick out of it. And if you haven't played it yourself, I'm pretty sure you can find it on eBay or something. And if you still have like an Xbox 360, or hopefully it's backwards compatible, you can play it on your Xbox One. But honestly, Deadliest Warrior game is pretty dang fun. Now we got the climax. Now we got to uh, see how it's gonna be shaping out. Here we go. It might, these reenactments kind of feel like, like you're playing, like you're LARPing or something, you know? No animals have been hurt in the making of this reenactment. Yeah, the goddamn helmet just cracked his doggone skull. Close my ass. That thing is like significantly different. Really though, because it's like it's stated before. It's like Genghis Khan like won a lot more uh, battles, more so than Hannibal did, and Hannibal never really beat the Romans. So it's kind of like give him a run for his money. No. Uh, it would probably make more sense to actually pick Genghis Khan up against another ancient warrior who had significant amount of wins underneath his belt. And and that's the thing. It's like there's battlefield tactics from Hannibal that's still being taught in military locations, and it's like, sure, some of this stuff is like very genius, but it's like, you know, I guess you can learn from the losers as well as the winners in history, but it's like, I don't know. It just seems like, why would I learn anything from like, Hannibal, who's just like lost so significant and didn't even beat the main, forces that he was set out to beat. Obviously, because Rome dominated the world for such a long time, and it fell by his own petard, and not by some outside forces like Hannibal. It's like, it made no sense to me. But anyway, that was Genghis Khan versus Hannibal. Genghis won. So the next one is, I won't say it's controversial, but it's like two dictators, Saddam Hussein versus Pol Pot. So yeah, I will see you guys in a little bit. Get that booted up, and yeah, have some fun with that. Oh, now leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about this episode, honestly, and like, do you agree with like the outcome, and what was your favorite weapon? And follow me in the links in the description. Follow me on my various channels, Twitch and YouTube specifically. And yeah, I will.